a strong feminist, and a Lourin Hubbard supporter. So thank you very much. So right now, I do think that we're in a moment where we're witnessing history. We have Lourin, a black man, who is announcing his candidacy for Congress on Juneteenth. How amazing is that? He's definitely breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings right now, so we're very proud of him. So I am a little nervous, so thanks, for all being understanding of that. So, it wasn't even that long ago where our black brothers and sisters were able to vote, and for us to be here, and support someone like Lourin is such a progress, but we know that we need more, and we know that we need to keep fighting. So I'm here in front of you all, to just kind of talk a little bit about Lourin and why I support him. So I'm gonna try to keep on to my speech because I'm digressing a little bit. So we know that the fight for racial justice is still far from over, but each day that we keep fighting and staying activated, we get closer to that goal of having a just growth for everyone. Lourin not only has the lived experiences that is needed in the halls of Congress, but he also has the progressive political values that will improve the quality of life of our marginalized communities. But we can't do this alone. We know that our current Congress member has a lot of special interests backing him, so we're going to need all of you to come together and join Lourin to make sure that we get him elected. Whether that's donating small amounts of money, whether that's going out in the community and knocking on doors, we are in need of everyone to come together. So the last couple of years have showed us that we need better representation from the local level to the federal level, and the COVID-19 pandemic has only made it more obvious. We need representatives who will fight for the resources that their community needs and will place the community's interest above anything else. Lourin Hubbard is that person. District 22 is a diverse community filled with hardworking people who do not deserve to be neglected, but instead invested in. It's not humane to have people pass away because they didn't have access to medical treatment, nor is it humane to have children fear for their lives when they're trying to get an education. These problems exist because our elected officials lack political courage. We need to put a stop to that, and we can do that if we come together and build a people-powered movement that will get Lourin Hubbard elected to the House of Representatives.
Yes.
So before you leave today, I want you to take a minute to look around and see who's missing. Maybe it's a nurse who is currently caring for our sick patients, or maybe it's that father who didn't have access to transportation, or it could be one of our agriculture workers who's harvesting the food we eat. Those people are the people we're fighting for, the people who couldn't make it out here today, the people who aren't with us anymore. We're fighting for a world with less injustice and more equity. So let's get to work and make it happen. Go Lourin 2020.
Hey, how about that heat there, everyone? Do a stand-up bit. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. As I look out, so many faces that are familiar, some that are new, and hopefully will become familiar. I am so honored to be up here today. Thank you to Diana for providing us with delicious treats. Yes. Thank you to Full Circle for putting on this event, and all the speakers up here doing this stuff today. We're here today on Juneteenth, which is a fitting holiday to be up here that celebrates the hopes and dreams of our black ancestors in this country that finally got a little bit of the taste of liberty that they were craving for so long in this country. Juneteenth commemorates the end of slavery in the United States, but a new birth of freedom in America. America can finally live up to its pledge of liberty and justice for all. That statement, liberty and justice for all, is something that's so rooted in our founding declaration that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
That right there is the American dream. The freedom, the liberty to live our lives in a way that makes us happy. As I look out today at so many faces, I'm so filled with pride. I want to thank my wife especially for being here today. She's been super supportive of me in this campaign. When I decided to make this run for Congress, my wife came up to me and she said, "I love you. I will do whatever you need. I'll be supportive. I'll watch the kids. I'll do that. But I want you to know that I don't do the dishes. So even when you get to Washington, you better have somebody fly back and do it for you. You need a staffer at the house, and I don't do dishes." So I want to thank her for that. You know, when we talk about the American dream, it's something, I recognize America as a land of unlimited potential, where a single mother can work hard and instill in her son an unwavering optimism in the promise of tomorrow, and a faith that when his hard work is met with opportunity, that a poor black boy from Central California can grow up to aspire to be the next congressman in the U.S. House of Representatives. As our speakers have shown you today, and everybody in this room has shown us, is that America, we're diverse. We're diverse. We're Latinx, we're black, we're Asian, we're white, gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, everything in between. My kids are running up here like crazy animals. They're my props. But everything in between. And those differences, those gender differences, those ethnic and racial differences were used to divide us in the past. You know, there's that saying, we come from different places. My ancestors came to this country on slave ships. My wives came to this country as immigrants from Puerto Rico and Cuba and Ireland. The civil rights icon John Lewis said, "We may have come on different ships, but we are all in the same boat now." And that what makes us united is that we're Americans. We have an American spirit. It's a spirit and ethos, a spirit of daring and determination, of generosity and kindness and philanthropy. It is grounded in the wisdom of the giants that came before us, but also open to the limitless possibilities that are yet to be discovered on the horizon. I am proud to stand up here as the son of a single mother. I am proud to stand up here as a hardworking husband and father. Hell, I'm proud to stand up here as the washer of the dishes in the Hubbard house. But I'm also proud to stand up here to announce my candidacy for Congress.
Yes, sir.
Because I believe in America.
Yes.
I'm running for Congress because my home is hurting. We are hurting in regards to health care, to water, the environment, education, and immigration justice. We need to recognize that a country that's made of us and made by us should work for us. See, that American dream, it hasn't been a reality for everyone. In fact, I've known some people that call it an American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about my vision for America, an America that works for we the people. And when I say we the people, I mean all the people.
That's right.
In America for we the people, healthcare would be a human right, where everyone would have access to quality healthcare, where the patient is put first.
Yes.
The best way I think to do that is with a Medicare for all system that provides coverage to everyone. It's not only an economic issue or a moral imperative for me, it's an economic one. Our American businesses are spending $1 trillion this year alone on providing health insurance to their employees. We need to recognize that in a globalized economy, those American businesses are competing with corporations from China and Japan In Germany, countries that have a single-payer healthcare system, they're not spending that money. If we want our businesses to be competitive, a Medicare for All system will help them do that. Not only will it help those businesses, but we can provide coverage to more people, and they get better care, and it's cheaper. In politics, that's what we call a win-win. Makes economic sense, it makes moral sense, and we have to do it. And my vision for America, everyone would have access to clean water. We have a congressman right now who for the last 20 years has talked about he's going to bring water to the valley. He's going to bring water to the valley. Well, I work in water. And no, I'm not a swimmer, not with this physique. But you can catch swimmers on the Olympics next month on NBC. They don't sponsor this event, so I don't give too much of a shout out. But I work in the Water Resources Control Board. And I can tell you for a fact that congressman has not brought water to the valley. In fact, he's done nothing to fix the contaminated water that we do have. He seems to be more concerned with suing cows on the internet than he is with fixing this issue. I personally think he hasn't done anything about it because it's something for him to run on. He can pretend to care about the issue so that he can run on it. But there should be no reason why in the greatest state, in the greatest country on earth, that a mother should have to go to the grocery store to buy gallons of water for her kids to brush their teeth. For her to bathe her children. We have to be sure that when we turn on our faucets, the water that flows is clean.
That's right.
For so long, I've heard people talk about, we can't fix the environment. The environment is important. It's just as important as our economy. We need to recognize that we don't need to sacrifice one to improve the other. This valley can lead the charge in the green energy revolution to bring in good-paying green jobs. We could do it tomorrow and lead the way. It's something that I care about as two children. I have two children. It's something that I care about deeply. That the earth that we pass on to our children is one that's sustainable, that they can live with.
That's right.
So it's personal for me because I'm doing this for them.
Yes, sir.
An America that works for we the people, getting a college education or going to trade school would be based on someone's qualification and desire to go, not their ability to pay or the debt that they have to take out to attend. These things aren't radical. At the end of World War II, when our servicemen and women were coming back home, America decided to make an investment in their education. Our servicemen and women got to go get college degrees at little to no cost to them through the GI Bill. Now, instead of our federal government focusing on building up community colleges and four-year public universities, we've invested less into them. And in turn, those colleges and universities have been right around and increased tuition and fees. So now if you want to go to college, you have to pay these outrageous prices to go. It means you got to take out student loans. The student loan debt that we have is crushing not only families here in the valley,
Right.
but families all across this nation.
Right.
It is virtually impossible for a young person to find a low-cost college. So they take out student loans. Those student loans are dead weight. They're dead weight on our economy. We have people that are not able to buy houses, not able to build wealth because of that debt. We have people that are not starting businesses. Hell, we have people that aren't even finishing school because of the debt, so they don't even get the degree. And in America, if we want quality educators for our children, if we want to have nurses and doctors that are qualified, if we want to have carpenters and electricians that have the correct training to build our infrastructure, we need to invest in education. Thank you, Mike. Finally, in an America, I believe in an America where family values
That's right.
actually means family values.
That's right.
We're an America that actually values family.
Amen.
When my oldest child was born, I worked overtime on the weekend. My wife actually went back to work, working 2 jobs, and being a full-time nursing student,
Right.
8 days after having an emergency C-section.
That's insane.
What?
Just so we can make it. My wife is a badass.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The feminine energy. She is a badass, but she shouldn't have to be.
Right. Right.
In an America that values family, we would have paid family leave.
Yes.
In an America that values family, we would have universal child care. One of the lessons that we have from this pandemic was that when daycares are closed and schools are closed, the burden falls on our moms to take care of our children. 2 million women dropped out of the workforce last year alone. Unless you have an abuela or grandma to watch them, it costs money. It cost us $18,000 this last year for our kids to be in daycare. We should have universal child care in this country. Finally, in an America that values families, women would have full control over what happens to their bodies. The decision to have a child is a deeply personal one, and it's one that should be between a woman and her doctor and her family, not the government. With my 2 daughters, I want them to know that if and when they choose to have a child, that they live in a country that supports them fully. And we need to have our parents know that we support them, and our children know that we support them.
That's right.
The last thing I want to cover here, talk about here, is an America that works for everyone. We would have a working immigration system. We would have an immigration policy that works for the changing needs of our district and the changing needs of our nation. One that values our country's history as a nation of immigrants, but one that also has the cultural enhancement that comes from not only tolerating diversity, but cherishing it.
Yes.
We would have an immigration system that protects our refugees. We would have an immigration system that actually provides asylum, where these folks' cases can be adjudicated efficiently and fairly, and also keeps in line with our country's constitutional right of due process. And lastly, we need a pathway to citizenship
That's right.
for our undocumented workers, our dreamers. They need to know that they too are part of this American dream. I have a friend of mine whose father just became a naturalized citizen in this country. It took him 14 years and $80,000 to do it. That's not a functioning system. A lot of heavy stuff. But I know that if we work together, that this country can be great.
Right. That's right.
The policies that I've talked about today are ones that set the focus from the top 1% to investing in we the people. It's an investment in we the people. I've heard a lot of naysayers that say, "Oh Lord, these ideas are great. These are good ideas." But we don't have money for that. America always seems to have money for certain things that certain of us care about, that certain of us value. Despite the partisan gridlock in Washington, we've spent trillions of dollars on wars. We've spent trillions of dollars on tax breaks for the wealthy. It's time that we invest in we the people. And we can do it. We can do it. We can have a compassionate country. We can have a caring country.
Yes.
We can have a country that cares about people. But I'm not going to lie to you, some times out here are rough. Here in Fresno, people are working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And it's also said as a joke, but with biting truth, that we need a side hustle just to make it. We have seniors that are dependent on Social Security and Medicare programs that actually work. Otherwise, they face financial catastrophe. We have families with children that care about clean air and clean water and the effects that climate change will have on their families. And we have people like my own mother who are so afraid of going to the doctor, that doctor bill they get is going to bankrupt them, that they simply don't go. They simply don't get their prescriptions. That's a decision that led to her death. So I'm up here fighting. I care about these issues because my mother's not here to fight for herself. And that's what we need in this district. Someone who's not going to give up. Someone who knows how to fight and is willing to fight. A message of hope and optimism. A focus on improving the lives of working class people. So if you'll stand with me, if you'll fight for me, if you'll make some phone calls for me, if you'll donate for me, if you knock on some doors for me, we can have an America that focuses on we the people. We can have an America that is for all, for everyone. We can do it. We have to do it. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. I'm going to stand here for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, we got some time. I will take some questions from anybody. If you have some questions,